You're watching the concluding episode.
And so how is my body going to then recover? You will imagine that, like the liver, it should just generate new 50 cells, but that doesn't happen in the brain.
But see how it started.
There's a particular part of the brain that initiates function of moving your leg, moving your arm. There are particular parts of the brain that actually initiate making love and all that. There's a particular part of the brain that is specifically built for organizing memory. So all the cells that they are forming different organs of the body, they are forming liver, they are forming intestine, they are forming brain, they are forming heart. We know that some of those cells have the capacity to continually divide all through their life, all through the life of that person. To divide and make the thing bigger still, make the thing bigger still, or if part of it is lost for a new organ to be considered. The good example we usually use even in medical training is the liver. The liver of a man is a big organ inside the belly on the right side, right just below the chest cage. That liver is like, for the sake of discussion, maybe like 2 thumbs, not thumbs, fist. I meant to say fist of a person, maybe up to 4 in a person, different people with different sizes. We say that if you were to take a man's liver at the beginning, something were to happen to it that was like equivalent for first 4 fists of his. If we were to keep cutting that liver and cut it, something happened to it that all that was left was 1 thumb size of that liver. That the rest, something destroyed it, something cut it away. That if we were to come back some time till later, each person with his own body physiology, that you find the whole liver back. That single thumb size of what is left of remnant liver, the cell will begin to multiply again. They know that something has happened here. A vacuum has been created here. A space has been created here that we need to fill up. They begin to multiply again. They are labile cells, unstable cells that can start replicating again. The other organs of the body don't have that capacity. Like the lung, other intestines, they are not that labile. They are not that unstable that they can just again switch on the code again and start multiplying again. They are stable cells. They will do a bit of they can do. They will manage. They will create new tissue. They will create something, but they don't succeed as well as the liver does. But the worst of them all on that score, if at all, is actually the brain, the nervous tissue. Those ones don't even have capacity to do anything. They don't replicate. The component of nerve cells in the brain, in the spinal cord, in the nerve that you came out of your mother's womb, is what you live with all the days of your life, whether you live to be 1,000 years of age. Those cells are called permanent cells. The nerve, once out of the woman body of the womb, does not divide, no longer has capacity to divide. It stays there. Okay, so if we then say, for instance, the nerve cells that are controlling the function of the right side of the body, of my right arm, the nerve cells in the left brain, in the center of the left brain that controls my right arm, if they were, for the sake of this discussion, at the beginning, 100, and something were to happen to 50 of them, and the 50 died off. The 50 died off, so I'm left with 50. So the first thing that you will see is that my right arm will get weak. It's not as strong as it was before anymore. So how is my body going to then recover? Since you will imagine that, like the liver, it should just generate new 50 cells, make the previous complement of 100 so that the arm can pick up the function again. Well, that doesn't happen in the brain. The brain doesn't have the capacity to regenerate new cells. It is those 50 cells the man will live with for the rest of his life. So how is the function going to improve? That's where the concept of neuroplasticity then comes in. Neuroplasticity is just a technical term to mean pliability, ability to sprout, to launch out and take the function on that person of. So it's like a nerve cell of the brain that was doing its own function alone in conjunction with another suddenly finds itself alone, and that the colleague has disappeared, and for that reason the function of that colleague is suffering from inactivity because of its absence. So that nerve cell, after a while, electrochemical activity actually, because again we said before, even though much of nervous communication is electrical, sometimes it also then generates chemical at the other hand to make something happen. It will be that, or sometimes it is chemical activity of the other of the organ that stirs the nerve cell to do something differently. After a while, it begins to occur to the brain cell, to that single brain cell that's now left unaccompanied, that more is being demanded that's not being delivered. And that, okay, it probably is because this other one has suddenly gone AWOL or died. So that nerve cell will then begin to generate new processes, new sproutings, new outsproutings that will try and begin to find their way to the place where the other nerve was and begin to do that, perform the function. But that's a process that takes time. It takes time to happen for the nerve cell to generate itself. In fact, if it's from the brain, the nerve cell that was powering my right hand before and now stop working, the outsprouting of a new nerve, of a new process from that brain to get to my arm is about 1 millimeter a day process. Usually when nerves need to travel distances along the human body, they take about 1 millimeter, they cover only about 1 millimeter in a day. 1 millimeter is like if you cut 1 centimeter into 10, just one part of that is what a nerve that's traveling to reach a destination in the human body. That's all it will cover in one whole day. Okay, so it takes a while. Not just that, it not only takes the time, the other thing it takes is actually the extra need, extra demand of the function that has been lost for something to begin to help it to be performed again externally. That is where we talk about physical therapy, physiotherapy in the care of patients in our own kind of system. The neuroplasticity will not happen if you don't use that part of the body. Okay, so you had your right arm working at power 10 a day before. Whenever it needs to carry a load, whenever it needs to, whatever function it needs to fell a tree, it needs to, whatever that demands energy. The arm is working at power 10. But because one nerve cell has been lost now, the power that's now able to work has been reduced to 5. And you yourself then sense that your arm is not as strong as it ought to be. And for that reason, you are not able to do all the things you could do before. So you then want to resign yourself to fate and start doing only the little that you are able to do now. Well, that's where you stay all of your life. Again, that leads us to that aphorism where we say, you either use it or lose it. You use it or lose it. How neuroplasticity happens, it happens internally, but it also happens with help externally. You have to try to use that arm if you don't want to lose it. So, better see for somebody who has about of the power of 10 that we're talking about, if you see has about 2, 3 left, but he finds that the arm is virtually using that he can only barely just do 2, 3. He's wondering what use is that arm to him. And then his carers, the physician, the physiotherapists are encouraging him to use the arm, and he's wondering, no, he that always lift things so easily, now he's having to struggle to lift a spoon. He gets dejected. Well, what he does not know that if only he will try and use that arm more and more, the 3 he has, it is that attempt at using that send signals, chemical signals and all that to the nervous system to try and do something, to try and encourage nerve cells that are still alive to send something across, to send help, to create new channels from their own. They have their own function they are performing. They are going to their own destination before, powering, if you like, the thumb. But the one that's on the index finger is now sick. So that's why the index finger now is not working well. But if you continue to use the index finger as well as it could, as much as it could rather, even though it's weak now, it is that constant use that begins to say, but because that constant use that's not enough, is what actually the body will pick to know that, oh, this index finger is not working enough. So as though the one that's powering the thumb will also know that, oh, you know what? I think I can sense that my neighbor is not working as well as it can. Okay, maybe we need to help it and send a branch from our hand to it to go help it. It is that use that helps the thing to actually recover, which is why we say use it or lose it. If you don't use it, you're going to lose it. That's the aspect that I find very, very disconcerting for me in the care of my own patients actually in Nigeria. That Nigerian patients, when you then get to the place where you handed the baton to them to take over and make sure they use that weak part of their body so that they can recover, that you find that they are not so well motivated. It's a strange phenomenon for me. It's always a strange phenomenon. So usually when I get exasperated, I would say, hey, what's your problem? If a doctor told me that if I would move my hand 10 times a day, it will help my recovery, in the light of this explanation I've just given now about neuroplasticity, Then if you come back tomorrow and tell me and ask me how much time I'd done that, I will tell you I did it 1,000 times. You say, hey, but I told you 10 times. You told me I will recover as well as the more I did, the more I will recover. So that's how when you see people who have stroke, okay, stroke means a blood pipe to one part of the brain got blocked by whatever. All sorts of things can happen. And that part of the brain's not having enough food, enough nutrients, stop working, died, or got sick. So because it's not performing its function, because it's not alive, it's not doing duty, that's where that one part of the body is weak. It's weak, sometimes it can actually be totally dead. That's a little tougher. Actually, the more dead, the more weak, the tougher. It's a grade. The tougher the recovery. We grade it muscle power on a scale of 5. 0 is somebody who cannot move at all. 5 is the one who's moving at the maximum strength for that part of the body, for his own body constitution. A person can have something happen to his brain cell or nerve cell or even the muscle cell of that part of the body, and it can only do 4/5. It can only do 3/5. It can only do 2/5. Down like that. So the worse the deficit, the tougher it will be to recover. It means more tissue has been destroyed. So more resources need to be mobilized, and the resources, first of all, they need to take time to happen. Plus, they need to be encouraged by it to happen. The more you do, the more you help them. So for those who can do 1 or 2, those are actually the people who should be able to recover if they will work hard at it and use the tool and use it and try. Then they find that it's a struggle to do little things, but after a while, if they will persist, then they find it's getting easier. It may take months, but that's the only part to recover. So that's how that neuroplasticity is the means by which the body, the neural cells try to recover from lost function, in that they cannot generate new nerves, new neurons, new nerve cells to come resume the duty that was lost before. It is only the contiguous, the nearby nerves that will try and see how they can transcend some hemisphere to, okay, let's help you out. We have our function we're performing. We can't leave our own base and come to you, but we can send you something. But that's something that needs to send you, it takes time to get to you. It takes 1 millimeter a day to get to you. It also takes you working hard and helping us, sending a signal to say that you need this thing to keep happening, then we know. So that's how it happens. Actually, in the light of what I've told you now, use it. Don't forget those 2 aphorisms. Use it or lose it. Okay? If you don't use it, you will lose it. So if you tell yourself, okay, I'll take over, I'll take charge, I'll use it, then you will not lose it. And remember to repeat, remember. Your brain, if you see, there's a center of your person there in the brains that, at least in the control, that marked telling things to happen. It is if that center of the brain says, hey, I'm dead, I don't want to do anything again, I think I'm gone. Well, then you are gone. If you say, no, I'll beat it, I will beat it. And so if it's about learning something, if that center of the brain says, no, this thing I want to learn and I will master it, then you know that the only way for you is to repeat and repeat and repeat and repeat. When there's something you said to do, which is also why most masters at any art of any sort, footballing, piano playing, whatever, at the level of mastery you meet them today, because there was one season when they just kept at it. When they first started out, they were fumbling as much as you will fumble, but because something drove them on and they can continue, that's why they gained the mastery. They repeated, so they mastered it. So remember to repeat, to remember. And so, of course, in the light of all of what we have said so far, I guess you will agree with me that indeed you could make a lot of change to your person, to your situation, if you just mobilize yourself. So if you know that there's somebody who says the brain, people cannot change, then the brain disagrees with this, please share with them this discussion.